You can walk around town. If you live in a very, I guess, urban area today, in the city, as someone would say, you can see a lot of different people walking around town. And if you actually pay close attention to them, like over the past over the past month, I've been paying a little more attention to how people carry themselves, how people spend their day-to-day lives together, how they act, the power structures, the unspoken rules that they have between them, how they speak, their tone of voice, how amount of respect they speak to people, who are the fake people around them. And the common denominator between all of these people is that they're all average. And so when you actually think about it, what makes a exceptional, I guess, standout-ish person? What makes a person stand out from the rest? Is it the fact that they look a little different than everybody else? Maybe their energy feels a little bit different. Maybe they dress themselves in a certain way to get attention. Maybe they're more intelligent or have a different kind of intelligence than everybody else, and so they decide to stand out, or they do their best to not stand out. And so you can still see this. Like sometimes I might catch myself looking around, like analyzing everybody and seeing like, okay, what's going on? Just analyzing everybody. It's very funny. Sometimes I come to some interesting conclusions. Like I can read people pretty well, I'd say. And so I wanted to make this video really quick to talk about what makes a person stand out. What makes a person look more like a I guess you would say a greater person, but at the same time that's a very vague word to use in this case. You would say like maybe like a more disciplined person, more effective person, more professional person, more serious person, maybe is a correct word in this case. So I made a couple of videos on this subject like over the past couple months or so that I've been posting on this channel every single day. And one thing that I've actually come to the conclusion of is that what separates the average person from this serious, more professional individual is three things. And I made a video on this topic a couple, I guess maybe like last week, I think. And I talked about the three core principles of becoming a more standout-ish, greater, more effective person everywhere you go. And so these three things, I'm not going to go deep down into them. I will give you guys a breakdown, and you can go in the description and you can check out that video for yourself, which is basically, if I summarize it really quick, it's discipline, social dynamics. So you understand and you are very good at socially like interacting with people, and you are extremely good at reflecting, strategizing on what to do, how to do it more efficiently and everything. And so the first one, so discipline, being consistently able to do something over a long period of time at like a high output or like a good, like effective output. Social interaction, and reflecting and strategizing on how to do what you're doing better, how to do it more effectively, and all that sort of stuff. So going over those three things, those are all skills and I guess capabilities that you can learn, right? And so I wanted to focus a bit more today on less inner and more outward appearance. What goes into your appearance if you really want to stand out from the crowd? Now, I'm not talking about dressing in a very like stupid or idiotic way, or like in a very provocative. I don't want you to just wear your swimming trunks outside if you're not going to the beach or the pool. You know, like that would be quite awkward if you were to walk around New York. I guess some people do that, maybe the crackheads. They go around New York in their own underwear or something like that. I don't fucking know. It's just fucking stupid. So I wanted to give you guys some advice on what I have done and what I do on a day-to-day basis that helps me stand out and get more social interactions with people, start more conversations, get more people to pay attention to me and ask, who is this guy? Why is he so different? Why do I want to talk to him? Is he important? Like all these questions they ask themselves. So instead of just being average and blending in. So what I've noticed is that the first thing I'm going to talk about is that the way you carry yourself, very important. You need to carry yourself with elegance. You need to carry yourself with confidence. And this is reinforced if you feel capable, if you have done so many things that you know you are so certain in your own capabilities as a man, you get naturally this confidence boost. Well, it's much easier to just carry yourself with a different type of, I guess, aura, because you've earned it. Very important. If you want to carry yourself with more confidence, you need to go through trials and tribulations. I heard somebody say this one time, and he's completely right. Because the more trials and the more tribulations and the more problems you solve and you go through, and this is going to build your character. Your character, the more stuff it goes through, it's just like in a video game. The more you go through stuff, the more you level up and the more you feel confident facing down stronger and more deadly enemies. When this is the same thing, but in this case you replace the enemies with I guess problems and social situations in today's modern life. So the first thing, let's just recap really quick. First thing is the way you carry yourself. It's the speed at with which you walk. It's the body movements that you have. It's the stride that you walk with. It's the way you carry yourself, how you slow everything down. Very important. When somebody has very slow movements or is speaking much slower than everybody else, he knows that nobody is going to cut him in the conversation and everybody's going to listen to him. The slower you speak, the more likely people are to listen, because when you speak slower, people think, he must be used to having people listen to him, so he must have something important to say. And so people will listen to you. Another thing is very much tied into your appearance is how you dress. And so many people disregard this. If you go outside in a sweatshirt and some jeans, nobody's gonna know who you are. Nobody's gonna care. Nobody's gonna ask, who's this guy? Nobody knows, right? Doesn't matter. Just another person blending in. But if you go out on, like, I don't know, you go out on a Sunday, you've got a suit on, and you go work at a coffee shop, people will stare at you because nobody does that. They're gonna be like, who's this guy? Why is he wearing a suit on a Sunday? Is he important? What does he do for work? How much money does he make? Is he somebody that I should talk to? That's what you want. So, dressing elegantly. You could dress in a very, I guess, professional way. I'll give you a few tips really quick as to how you can dress a little bit more professionally, a bit better, more seriously. So first, you want to understand the natural colors. This is what I've learned quite a long time ago, actually, is color matching. When you've got certain pieces of equipment, or clothes in this case, and you want to mix and match colors. So what colors go well together are, and I suggest you look this up, clothing, color coding, matching. something like that, and you'll see and feel like a bunch of different colors. Or like you could even ask ChatGPT, hey, I'm a insert skin color, insert haircut, picture of yourself. I'm a X, Y, and Z year old man or woman, and I would like you to help me put together an outfit that makes me look elegant, professional, serious, and so that people stare at me when they look at outside. And when I go and I walk outside, I want people to stare at me. I want people to ask themselves, who is this guy? And I want people to like be curious about who I am. And so usually what that's going to come up with is, what I've found is one of two things. First, it's going to break down who you are. If you have white skin color, then in that case what you're going to want to do is wear more, like, for instance, I've got this watch here. It's just a shitty watch, like it doesn't cost that much, but this is silver and it goes well with white skin color. If you have a darker skin color, you want to wear gold instead. Same thing for this chain here. If you have white skin color, you want to wear silver. If you have darker skin color, you want to wear gold. And so these are like for small attachments. Otherwise, I have a more of a I guess you could say a Canadian lumberjack would be like a really good description of who I am. So usually when I go outside, I'm either wearing business casual, so that would be like a slim fit shirt, something that emphasizes my physique, because I've worked over the last 4 years on my physique, which is another thing I'm going to touch on right after this. And then I would wear, like, let's say when I'm wearing a suit, I've got this belt on right here, this brown belt, then I've got brown shoes, and then I've got my brown leather jacket. So that's 1, 2, 3. And then I've got blue, 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 and then white. So that way it's 3 colors. It's brown, white, and blue. And so everything matches together in one, like, cohesive way. And so I could do the same thing with another outfit of mine, which would be putting together brown leather jacket. It would be like, let's say, blue shirt, and then business casual pants with brown belts and brown boots. So that way I have a brown, blue, and then brown jacket. So that's why it's brown and blue. So you can mix and match these things based on your skin color, based on your hairstyle, based on a lot of different things about your, like, physical appearance. And so this is like very important. I suggest you learn color coding and matching for your clothes if you actually want to wear something pretty decent, and you can actually put together an outfit that doesn't cost that much money and actually looks good. You don't need to buy some extravagant Prada or some extravagant luxury brands. You don't need to buy that. You just need to find stuff that looks good for you and that makes you feel like yourself. Authenticity will go much more further than just wearing something that somebody else said, like, oh, that looks cool. If you wear something that fits who you are and say, hey, I wanted to wear this because it looks cool, and nobody's wearing it, well, in that case, that is going to make you feel more unique whenever you're talking to people and you're going outside. So those are the two main things first I wanted to talk about. So the way you carry yourself and the way you dress. Two most important things. Another thing is going to the gym. Fixing your physical appearance. If you're skinny fat, if you're overweight, if you're super mega skinny, if you're short, like if you look like a scrawny dude, geek, I recommend going to the gym like at least 30 minutes to 1 hour every day. Or if you can't do that, then at least like 3 or 4 times a week minimum, because that way once you fix your physical appearance, people will give you more respect, because having a very strong and masculine physical appearance is going to help you not only stay in shape and have higher energy, so it's good for you personally, and it's also good because people, when they look at you, they say, this guy has the discipline. He has the discipline to actually work on himself for a long period of time and actually see it through. And so I'm going to give him more respect than some fat, overweight dude who hasn't done anything and can't put the fucking fork down. So that's the whole point. So, recap. We've got how you carry yourself, what you wear, and then your physical appearance. Those are the three most important things. The next one would be, what would it be? I guess it would be hygiene and grooming. That's like the most last thing you can do to actually look good. So as men, we don't really do makeup. We don't really do any of that sort of stuff, but we do groom ourselves. So beard trimmed, like just trim your beard, just fucking here. Then you get a haircut. I'm about to go get a haircut today. It's a bit long, as you can see here. I like to keep it really short. So I want to make sure haircut, beard trimmed, eyebrows trimmed. If you have like shitty ass eyebrows, make sure they're all good. Make sure if you have a fucking unibrow, make sure you have you figure out a way to get rid of the fucking centerpiece because it looks like shit. And otherwise, just make sure you look as best as possible to yourself first, and then ask for other people's advice. This is like one of the most important things that I've noticed. So like every single morning, maybe like every 2-3 days, I would look in the mirror, I would take my trimmer, I would take my razor, and I would just shave all this off. You can see here, I shave this maybe like every 2-3 days on a daily, like almost daily basis, because it grows super quickly. So do that. Then you could do, I guess, so that you don't smell bad, you need to use cologne. And you also need to shave your armpits and anywhere where there's a lot of hair. If you are a very hairy person, I recommend just shaving as much of it off as you can, because when there's a lot of hair in the same place, it captures your, like, I guess your body odor, and it can stink after a while. So you need to be aware of that. So it would be from the waist down upward, you can shave, I'd say. That would be like pretty safe if you want to make sure everything's clean, and I guess if you're expecting company as well. So with that said, if we recap from the start, if you want to become a more, I guess, greater, more serious, professionally looking man outside, like on the outside, you are going to want to make sure you carry yourself in a very different way to everybody else. So make sure you take some time to slow down your pace with which you're walking. Make sure you're talking slower. Make sure you're doing things in a more controlled way. Make sure everything feels controlled. Second thing is, you want to make sure to look up how to match it, like mix and match clothing. Make sure that you know how to like match your clothes, your color clothes, so that you don't wear anything that doesn't make any fucking sense or that doesn't look like shit. And if you're a guy, I recommend wearing a suit because it will always make you look better. Third thing, go to the gym. If you're fat, lose some weight. If you're skinny, pack on some muscle, and you'll see that fixes a lot of things about your own personal confidence. And the last thing is grooming and hygiene. So you need to be shaving off, if you have like a bunch of hair in a bunch of different places, you need to shave that off to make sure you don't keep that body odor within that hair, like trapped in that hair. Like if you have armpit hair, if you have I don't know, hair in the waist down, or like all the way up to your chest, I would say shave everything off as much as you can, just to keep everything neat and tidy. Get a haircut at least once every 2 weeks, 3 weeks, or max every month. And then trim your beard every couple of days or so, like at least once a week minimum. And then use like a shaving kit, and you just shave all this part here so that you look clean, mean, fighting machine. That's what my dad says. So with that said, I appreciate every single one of you guys watching it to the end of the video. I hope this was information that can be best used for you guys, so that way you can actually look good and feel better about yourselves on the outside. And I do have to say, wearing a suit is like biggest, like top 3. It's really nice. Like when you go outside, I want to talk to people more than that. When I'm wearing this, I want to talk to people. I want to just fucking boom, boom, conversation, boom, boom, boom. You know what I mean? Make money. And so, with that said, thank you guys so much for watching. Appreciate every single one of you guys watching until the end of the video. As per usual, I can't fucking thank everybody enough. Like, comment, subscribe, and I will see you in the next one tomorrow. Have a great day. Beautiful day, the sun just came out. It's time to get back to work. See ya.